talking about deep Zen. All right, we're going to be going deep into some very spiritual stuff here. So you're probably going to want to turn off all the other distractions and kind of focus on what I'm going to be telling you here. Okay, so at some point, you open your spiritual eye, if even for a split second, and you will see the truth of this existence. Now, this glimpse will be intense, and you will have the urge to explore this. No teacher can help you here. This is where you walk into the darkness yourself to discover your true self. Now, by this I mean either before you got interested in Zen and spirituality altogether, or as you were attempting the various ascetic practices. Perhaps, like I said, even for 1/10 of a second, your spiritual eye opened and you saw the truth of this existence. And this glimpse, it's intense. It totally changes your entire orientation of your life. And you have this compelling urge to explore this, to follow this, to see where this goes. It's in you. You can't escape it. It's just there. Now, many people try to go to, various teachers and gurus, and they buy tons of books. And they find that, whereas best, these teachers, some of them are completely no use, but at best, all these teachers can do is give them encouragement to just keep exploring the urge. No teacher can really help you here, and that's something that a lot of seekers tend to find for themselves after a while, that there really is no teacher that can help them. So this is why I say, this is where you walk into the darkness yourself. The darkness is the unknown, where you don't know and the teacher can't tell you. You go there yourself to discover your true self. Your true self is, it's not this flesh body. It's not this, the person that that you see in the mirror. It's not that. It's something else. The deep dive. So, when you're following the urge, this urge to explore, you do a deep dive into your own mind. The false self, like I said, that which you see in the mirror, and that which you call me, that which is created over the years, will panic and do anything to stop this. It will do anything to stop you from looking. It's like that thing where people say, don't look at me, or they're embarrassed, or they don't want you to discover something. That's what your false self is like. It doesn't want you to see the true self. It doesn't want you to look behind the curtain. So the false self will panic. And it will do anything to stop this. And I am very serious about this. Now, the biggest one is distractions. Circular thought, particular thinking that just keeps coming back at you. A tune that you cannot get rid of. I've heard this a lot with Zen meditators. They just say that a tune keeps running through their head over and over and over again. A vision or notion that seems alarming. I knew one lady who, every time she would meditate, or every time she would start to really dig deep into herself, it was like she was seeing the mutilation of animals and very alarming things. Or generally, there is a feeling that something is not right. And this is another big one, that something is not right. You can't say it, you can't put your finger on it, you can't explain it, but there's just this notion in you that something is not right. Body pains and ailments. Vomiting is a big one. Headaches, spasms, and cramps. All these I have seen with Zen practitioners. I myself went through a series of vomiting for months. I knew another lady, she was doing the headache thing. Spasms and cramps are very common. A lot of times men, when they're in seated meditation, will have unexplainable spasms and cramps that stop them from meditating. False memories. This is like watching a movie in your head that is created to just distract you. And this is big. For sometimes these false memories cannot be distinguished between true memories. And this is something that can drive you nuts. Blaring noises or blurred vision. Every sound is loud and like in an echo chamber, and your vision is blurred and distorted. Sometimes people call this Zen sickness, but most of the time, though, this is just the false self stopping you from digging deep into your own mind, from seeing the man behind the curtain. They do not want you to go any further. And I'm deadly serious about these things. This is not. I'm not just saying these things because when you do a deep dive, and I mean really do a deep dive, everything I'm talking about here is going to come up. Throwing the kitchen sink. Your false self will use anything to stop you from fully waking up and discarding the false self that you created upon this phenomenal world. It will become very imperative that the Zen seeker who is doing a deep dive will have to cut all attachments, because if not, they will be used as a weapon by your false self against your own enlightenment. I don't even know how to really say this any more clear. Your false self, this illusion of you, this thing that you call me, myself, and I, this idea that you have of who you are, is all created upon this phenomenal world, this body, your doings, your education, your indoctrination, your brainwashing, and everything. This false self, when you betray it, when you betray the false self, it will throw the kitchen sink at you to stop you from fully waking up. Now, when I mean you have to cut everything, because if you don't, if you hang on to a single thing, it'll be used by your false self to club you over the head and drag you back into delusion. Things like relationships, that's the big one. Relationships to parents, relationships to lovers, relationships to family, relationships to nationalities, or whatever allegiances that you might have. This will all be used against you. This will come up hard. And it'll be used to leverage you and to stop you from your own enlightenment. And whatever extremes that you may have taken up, love, hate, wants, and fears. Whatever extremes that you delve into or are holding. And this will all come up. And it'll grab onto these extremes and threaten you. Or take them as hostage. This is why the Buddha teaches the middle path. To not reside in the extremes of love or hate or wants or fears. Because these will be used against you. And lastly, the Zen seeker must abandon all of the above. Because like I said, it'll be used to stop you. I can say these things. I can talk to you about them. But you won't believe me until you do your own deep dive into yourself as to what I'm talking about, how your false self will literally bring this stuff up and club you over the head. Defeat of the false self. Now, if the Zen seeker can resist the temptations, the petty demands, or the terror of the false self, awakening will happen. At some point, the false self surrenders. That is, of course, after the begging, the pleading. At first it's going to threaten, be like a 2,000-pound gorilla on you. And then it's going to plead and try to bargain. Eventually, the false self will surrender. And this is where the awakened being now emerges. The Awakened Bodhisattva. The false self takes a subordinate position. It's always there, but no longer in control, but it's called enlightened. The process. The awakening process can take days, weeks, months, or even decades of years for some. Only with a pure commitment to the process can one truly awaken. An other awakened being can only give you inspiration. That's it. They can't teach you how to awaken. They can't reach in you and awaken you. There's no Buddha field for you to sit in. There's no holy transmission. It's only inspiration and encouragement that an awakened being can give. And urge you to stay with it. Urge you to try. Urge you to not give up. That's it. There's nothing else. A monastic-like center can help you detach, to be free from distraction. Though it is not necessary. This idea that only a monk, only a bhikkhu, only somebody in a monastic center or a priest can be enlightened, that's just sectarian religious order nonsense. That's their own pride and ego speaking, their own false self. Yet, a monastic-like life, or a renunciate, a hermitage, it's all in this attempt to detach. Because like I said, the false self will grab upon any relationship to club you over the head. Will grab onto any distraction. Even stray cats that wander onto your property will become a distraction. Anything it can grab onto. Like I said, many people think that, I'll go live in a monastic life, I'll go to Tibet, I'll go to Thailand, I'll go to a Zen center, and I'll detach and be free. Though it's not necessary to do that. Many people can do it within their own life as it is, because you already have everything that you need. So, your commitment is really the only way. Your commitment to the process, to awaken, it has to be strong and it has to be true and sincere. It's the only way. No teacher, no guru, no religious order can give you this. This is something that you have to develop on your own. Deep mysticism. Even awakened, the Bodhisattva grows in great wisdom and understanding. In this, the Awakened Bodhisattva delves into deep mysticism, where all the mysteries are revealed and unfolded. So, just waking up, where the false self takes a subordinate position, does not suddenly deliver to the emerged bodhisattva all of this great stuff. It's a growing process that the bodhisattva is now emerging and growing. And the great wisdom and understanding develops over time, and with patience, and with not allowing the false self to re-emerge itself or to reassert itself. And in this, deep mysticism happens. The mysteries are revealed and unfolded. And I can't tell you what these mysteries are. I cannot say what they are to be. For all bodhisattvas, it's different. For because of their own perspectives and their own karmas. It's different. This is where the mystical powers are learned, and where great wisdom is bestowed by the true teacher, that of the cosmic Buddha. It's not some flesh guy. It's not some woman or man wearing robes with a shaved head. That is not your teacher. That is maybe perhaps at best somebody to give you encouragement to walk the path of Zen. But they are not Zen. They are not the teacher. The cosmic Buddha is the true teacher. You just have to awaken to this. You have to become the bodhisattva. You have to emerge as the bodhisattva. Zen centers don't really teach this. What I am telling you is the true path of Zen here. This is what you have to do yourself. A Zen center or a Zen teacher can only give you encouragement, perhaps give you a little bit of advice on how to make a commitment, how to limit your distractions, how to set things up so that you can do a deep dive into your own psyche, to square off and face the false self, that of Mara, as they would say in the sutras. The tempter who is going to keep you into this samsaric cycle of suffering. And that's at least what a good teacher would do. That's all they can do, if they're a good teacher. If anybody who claims that they are Buddha, or that they are the path, or that they are your savior, or that they have a Buddha field around them, or that their lineage, or that their holy transmission is the way, that is their false self who is in control and asserted their delusions. That is not a teacher. That's a demon. This is a process, and I just don't know how else to say it. You want to wake up. If you really want to wake up, and you want to become the awakened bodhisattva, the emerging bodhisattva. This is something that you have to do yourself. No book, no teacher, no Zen center, no religious order, nothing can help you. It is your own commitment, your own sincerity, your own true wish to do this, that you generate yourself. You could read in the sutras about, monks that fly, monks that have psychic powers, and monks that do all of these amazing mystical things. And a lot of people just scratch that off as, fantasy or creative writing or fictional writing or entertaining writing. Though I will just say, for the awakened bodhisattva, everything is possible. And the mysteries are revealed and unfolded within their own time and their own space and way. That the teacher, the cosmic Buddha, will teach and reveal to the awakened bodhisattva what is needed for the time, what is needed for the moment, what is needed to help all other sentient beings awaken. I create these videos to help you understand what the Path of Zen is, what is at stake, and what it is that you need to do. Alright, thank you for listening to my presentation. Please remember to like and subscribe. And you can support this channel on Patreon. The link is in the first comment below.